Welcome back to the StormchaserQ Show. I'm meteorologist Quincy Vagel, and after a brief pause for the show, I'm back. I wanted to wait until I had better audio equipment before I published any more episodes, and you'll hear that the audio should be cleaner, crisper, and at a louder volume. But with that said, today's episode is Tour Van Drives into Tornado, and there was an incident that happened earlier this spring, May 28th, 2019, that involved Silver Lining Tours, which is a Storm Chase tour group, driving into a tornado, and they had two of their vans rolled, which is a direct quote, rolled or flipped over by the tornado. And it's relevant now for a couple of reasons. One, video just recently surfaced on YouTube from a tour group participant inside the van that actually shows them driving into the tornado and then the van flipping. And then the other thing was that I was right there when it happened. The tour group passed me twice within the previous 5 minutes before it happened. And then when it happened, I was within about a mile distance of them. And I nearly had the tornado impact me as well. But I was rushing to get out of the situation. So just a high-level overview. And this video will show from them, the tour group drove into a tornado. And the initial report was that there was a long track EF4 tornado that happened northeast of this area. It impacted the area just east of Lawrence, Kansas, and just missed Kansas City. So the initial thought and initial reports were that the tour group was hit by a satellite tornado, and they had a post that was submitted on Facebook a day after the incident saying that they believed that they were hit by an unexpected satellite tornado. And all of the reports that came out right after that suggested this came out of nowhere, it was unexpected, they couldn't see it coming. But I'm going to explain why I don't buy that at all, and based on my observations, based on radar data, and based on discussions on StormTrack. I just feel that the group didn't take ownership of the situation. This is video from me, and you see at 5:58 p.m., the tour group passes me. I pulled off the road, I'm looking to the west, I'm in the middle, it's starting to rain, so I'm in the middle of a rain-wrapped mesocyclone, and little did I know, but there's a tornado that's to the west that's approaching, and to the northwest, a new tornado is about to form. So I drive north, my goal is to get to the next eastbound paved road, get out of there, just get east and get out in front of the storm because it's raining, and I don't like to chase rain-wrapped tornadoes. In fact, every tornado in these pictures, none of them are rain-wrapped. They're all easily visible. Rain-wrapped tornado, you can't see it, or you won't be able to see it until it's too late and you're directly under it. I drive north. At 6:01 p.m., I turn east, and then the tour group is turning back south. And it turns out that they were driving directly into the tornado, and within 1 to 2 minutes of this, their vans were rolled or flipped. And as I drove east, I was on the outer edge of the circulation in the RFD. I was very close to the tornado, and I'll admit, I was just too close. So why is the tour group this close? Well, there's lots of angles to this situation, and as a tour group, I understand. You want to get close, you want to get great footage, you want to have exciting moments, but you also have a responsibility to make sure that you are keeping your guests safe. And all their statements on their website talk about safety, and one of them says, direct quote, "We will never," in all caps, "stop in close proximity to a tornado unless there is a clear and proper escape route. We do not take unneeded risks around a storm and view them from safe distances and safe vantage points." And that's simply not true. Not only did they stop in the middle of a rain-wrapped mesocyclone that was about to produce an EF4 tornado, but then they drove directly south. And if you look at radar data, and I think the little blue circle, which is my location, is a good proxy for their location. We crossed paths multiple times, so I'm within about a mile of them this entire event. There's the couplet. That's the first tornado that actually formed at 5:49 p.m. based on the National Weather Service track information. And then their vans were flipped around 6:02 or 6:03 p.m. So this wasn't a sudden satellite tornado that came out of nowhere. This was a tornado that was in progress for at least 13 minutes, a long track, what was an EF2 tornado that took out the vans. And then what happened was that tornado would eventually turn north and be absorbed by the initial larger mesocyclone and produce the long track tornado that began around 6:06 p.m. So then my question is, was this negligence? Why were they doing damage control, and why weren't they taking ownership of this? Now, I understand from a legal perspective, they're probably advised to not admit any guilt because if there's any lawsuits, they could go back to the statement and say, oh, you admitted that you drove into a tornado. They played it off. But based on all the accounts from discussions I've had with other storm chasers, my own video and my own two eyes watching the situation happen and looking at radar, This was just a case of getting too close, being negligent, and then not taking ownership for it. So they could have easily said, yeah, we were too close to the situation. We were broadsided by a tornado. Luckily, no one was hurt, but we learned from it. But instead, they doubled down and kept saying that it was a satellite tornado. That's not true. So then my concern is, what about tour groups going forward? As technology gets better and as social media, everyone wants to get the best footage, and their initial video of the van flipping has gone semi-viral online. Tour groups are going to want to get closer. And as more and more tour groups pop up, there's just the potential that you could have more incidents happen. And luckily, this tour group put out another statement. They did say that from now on, they have a 7-10 rule, which they won't get within 7 to 10 miles of a rain-wrapped storm because they want to have a good visual on it. And whether that's true or not, that seems like overkill. You don't need to be 10 miles away from a storm. You could be a couple of miles away and still be in a very safe spot, be able to take pictures, and then have escape routes. But at the same time, you don't have to be directly under it. And looking back at radar information, and actually in the video, there's radar going on the dashboard. So they're watching radar. They know what's going on. And you could microanalyze it. I don't want to get into the weeds too much, but my main thought is they made a mistake, should have accepted ownership, responsibility, and just gone on. But again, luckily no one was severely injured, so we can all learn from this. But that was my perspective on it. And again, now that I have the new audio equipment, I will be producing more episodes in the near future. And of course, if you have any feedback, please give it to me. I want this show to be all about questions and topics that you find interesting. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's StormchaserQ, and I've been doing polls lately to see what topics will be next. And if you are on Twitter, I'm also StormchaserQ on there. And if you have a question that you want to submit, either reach out to me on social media there or go to quincyvagel.com/ask. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.